Hi everyone and welcome to episode 292 of the Mike White's podcast. I'm Jack, as always joined by Casey.
Now
How's things, mate?
Yeah, pretty good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, all good. Very tired due to work and stuff, but I ain't got many more of those days left this year. Got a bit of time off over Christmas, so I'm looking forward to that. Middlesbrough could have probably felt quite tired by the end of the game on Tuesday night.
Yeah, what did I say? Nobody wins away games.
Bodes well for tomorrow.
And I'm going to say now, if you look at the stats, I think you'll find that my point is entirely proven. No further questions, Your Honour.
Yeah.
No, it was good. I think it was, as we said, it was quite nice to see a team that actually came to Elland Road, and whether it worked or not, they were going to play their way, and I think it did lead to a more open game for us, which is nice to see, because it is a rare thing at Elland Road when you're in the Championship, is seeing teams that are, even if they're not playing, like even on the night, if they didn't end up playing great, they're not just going to revert to, right, 10 at the back and off you go. Break us down, will you?
Yeah, it's sort of an odd thing. It sounds a bit fucking big-headed Leeds fan sort of thing to say, really, but it's true. In the league, Middlesbrough did actually look like the best team that we've played at Elland Road, which I'm saying after we've beaten 3-1, and like Burnley won at Elland Road.
I mean, we've said this though. We've kind of gone through the fixtures of some of the bigger teams that we've played. Sheffield United are clearly a good Championship team, but by God, did they offer absolutely nothing when they came to Elland Road?
Yeah.
But like you say, Burnley, weren't up to much and benefited from an unfortunate slip. You look at the teams that are Sunderland away. Like, even when they were at home, Sunderland didn't look up to all that much. Like, they played all right, but they didn't look like a team that you thought were going to start tearing away at the top of the league.
No, but I guess that's what managers will look at of other teams. They'll go, well, Burnley came, sat, did nothing, and they got that one bit of luck, took the chance and won. Whereas Middlesbrough came, played okay. Not brilliant. Like, if you listen to Middlesbrough fans, they definitely know they're capable of better than they should. And I think that's true. Based on what I've seen this season, that is true. They are capable of being better than that. But they came and actually had a go, which is what if you were in their shoes, you'd want them to do, but it got them turned over. So I think that it might well be a long time before we see another team come to Elland Road and actually have a go. But it was nice to see, and it definitely made it a better game to watch. Leeds were the better side right the way through, though. They're barring, the first 15 minutes of the second half? That was probably the one bit where Middlesbrough they were probably the better side for that 15 minutes, and that we had the rest.
Oh, you applied the pressure, and that's when Max Verber steps up and scores for you.
Well, he's a natural goal scorer. We learned that last week.
Hate him again now. Dreadful player, horrible player. Hope he gets sent away. No, like I say.
Oh, actually, on the subject of Max Verber, I am going to because I've forgotten until just now. He got away with it, but could someone in training show him how to take a throw in? Because none of them got given, but he did at least 3 foul throws. Like that. And it wasn't just me, like everyone around me would go, well, that's a foul throw straight away. And not to stick up for Middlesbrough fans a bit, I haven't seen these back on TV. They appealed for offside against Max Verber about 6 times. And like one of them got given. And I reckon he was probably offside at least a couple more times. None of them that actually led to anything. But as Leeds are on telly on Saturday against Preston, if he's fit to play, but if he's going to play that high and wide, it's going to be like when Farker first took over and betting on Luke Ayling over the offsides was a really good bet. If Max Verber plays left back against Preston, there'll probably be a bit less room in behind, so it might not happen as much, but it'll be worth a look.
Is that your lock of the week?
It really depends on it depends how fit he is. It depends if Preston play a back three or a back four as well.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was just, like I say, it was nice having two teams play football, actually playing some football, and we were better. So,
Yeah.
No.
No. And you're still not really in Yorkshire.
Yeah, well, that's. I think that's the most important part of this. That it's not a derby game, isn't this?
Yeah. Oh, and Middlesbrough fans and Leeds fans reacted the exact way they should. Middlesbrough fans did my least favourite taunting song in football, which was Michael Carrick. He's won more than you. That only works if he won stuff with you.
Yeah,
because Leeds fans just responded with Michael Carrick. He's won more than you. And Plymouth fans did the same thing with Wayne Rooney. It only works if he won stuff with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Leeds took the lead fairly early, about 15 minutes-ish. 14. There we go. Sam Barron played a really good ball in down the right for Dan James, who got in behind. He put in a cross that took a little flick off Matt Clark, who we weren't expecting to play. He played instead of Dale Fry, and I think that helped us a lot. Mateo Joseph attacked it well at the near post. I'm still not sure whether he or the defender got the actual final touch before Senny Dieng made the save. But then Senny Dieng kind of panics with the ball on the floor. Nonto's closing down well, but Dieng panics and kicks it against him. And Leeds go 1-0 up.
Zoidberg walks the ball into Nonto, and it bounces in.
I was going to go with the Homer Simpson celebration. Woo, 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 woo.
It's the same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it is the same thing. Same people. Well, sure. Yeah, it was good to get the goal so early, and we were on top at that point. I think every time Leeds have played against a team with Senny Dieng in goal, both Middlesbrough and Forest before it, I've made a thing of how he does have a real mistake in him, and I think I forgot to in the last one, so he made one. But I was more pleased to see Matt Clark playing for them, because Matt Clark, now this is really rich coming from a fat mid-30s bloke who is not athletic at all, and he's broken down, but Matt Clark's rubbish. And he has been every time he's played against us for just about every club. And he got every single time he got pressed, he panicked like mad. And I think that really helped us play. But it was good to see Nonto get one, because he's been not bad, but not quite at his best. So hopefully getting a goal, even a scrappy one like that, will give him a bit of confidence again.
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke about it, didn't we? The run in those few games before the international break, he was looking a bit off, and so it wasn't entirely surprising when he dropped out the team. And then sort of the couple of games after that, him, James, and Solomon all sort of put claims in, and then none of them did anything against Blackburn. But yes, it's it's good for him to get that goal, and like you say, much needed for him. Not and nice. I know it won't actually go down as an assist at this point, but it was a good ball in by Dan James. Got it into the right area.
Yeah, it's one of them that I mean, and he shouldn't get it as either, but people can look at that and go, that was a good ball in, whereas an algorithm will probably go, that was a blocked cross.
Yeah, he is conceded possession.
Yeah,
but so too did Middlesbrough.
Yeah, rest of the half, Leeds were the best. There was only really one Middlesbrough break where I think it was Duck got away down the right hand side in a counter attack, and as he ran down Leeds' left, Dan James came tear-assing across to win the ball back, which was brilliant covering because it was from a Leeds corner as well. I think so. He just set off and saw the danger, and it was really good. Leeds missed a couple of decent chances. Aronson had a missed chance like on the volley that he spooned over when Matt Clark just like stopped and froze, and the ball bounced past him. And then Nonto forced a decent save later on. But early in the second half was when Middlesbrough did sort of get going a bit. Meslier had to make a decent save from Riley McGree on the left side quite early on in the half. And then fairly soon after, in fact, it might have even been from that corner. I can't remember. But Dan Barreza swings in a corner to the near post. And it looked, I haven't actually watched this goal back, it looked like Verba was jumping for it and just sort of got eased under it a touch. Not in any way that was a foul, just sort of ended up wrong side. And on the angle we were on, as soon as he jumped and was facing the wrong way, it looked like an own goal before he even did it. He was just in completely the wrong position and he flicked it in at the near post.
It's a lovely glancing header.
Oh yeah, the other end you'd be saying that's a great goal.
Yeah, it's still scoring from set pieces. It's good. We're keeping the form up. Yeah, it's one of those things that happens, doesn't it? Like I'm not gonna particularly dig him out for that. These things happen a couple of times a season.
Yeah, it was,
I don't think he was just the unlucky one at this point.
Yeah, and to be honest, I do actually think Verba played pretty well in this game. I thought he had a good game, and own goals do just happen every now and then. It would just got a bit out of shape. Barlaser gave it some real the big I am to the south stand afterwards, which, like, I know that he was probably getting some stick because he was in front of the south stand, but like, one, it's an own goal, and two, it wasn't even a good corner. Like, it didn't beat the first man. It was just that our first man did something silly. So it was a bit weird for him to go that big on it, especially given what happened after. And because I might forget earlier, he did also back that up with one of the worst free kicks I've ever seen, which honestly, it looked like it wasn't far off clearing the south stand. That's how bad it was. But shortly after the goal, because Middlesbrough, that goal really got them going, and it was the one time in the game where the Borough fans really got going as well, and it kind of picked up the atmosphere. And Mellier's best contribution to the game by a mile. They got the ball out to Ben Doak on the right side. He took a touch, and he was a bit slow to react, but Mellier absolutely flew off his line to come out and win it. And it was a really good save. And obviously we've, as of the entire fan base, no one's had loads of praise for Mellier recently because there hasn't been much to praise him for. But that was a really big save at 1-1. Because if that goes 2-1 Borough, then they can sit deep.
Yeah.
And it becomes a very different game.
Yeah, it's one of those things with Mellier at this point is we're sort of into the period of not knowing which Mellier is going to be there. I'd probably say the last few weeks, yeah, there's always a bit of a mistake in there, but there's been nothing calamitous. I would say he's been at least back to being a good champion the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And it's stuff like that. We know we can do it. We've seen it. You know, the fact he's been our first choice goalkeeper for, this is his 5th year essentially of it. So he should be fine. It's just knowing that there will be something in the future. Yeah.
But no, that was a big save, and obviously he actually came off his line for a couple of balls over the top as well, really well. It seemed to, his starting positions seemed to be pretty good in this game. But once he made that save, Leeds started to get going again. And one thing that was really noticeable is Leeds started really, it wasn't massively pressing the centre-backs, although Joseph ran around plenty and put as much pressure on as he could. We were really pressuring their pass into midfield, and we just started winning the ball kind of repeatedly, and both of Leeds' next 2 goals came from it, and there was other times where they did it as well. But the third, Leeds won one back. Tanaka broke through, played it into Dan James, clean for 1 goal, who produces the weakest, most unconvincing, just I don't just such a weak finish. Oh, you would almost go as far as to describe it as a pathetic finish. It was as if he was scared of the ball. Just passes it to Dieng, not even in the corner. It was a terrible finish. Then 30 seconds later, Sam Barry makes a great tackle. Pirlo this time plays in Dan James in an almost identical position, except maybe slightly wider, a bit more difficult. This time, absolute thunder bastard into the top corner. Everything that was bad about the first finish is what was good about the second finish. I can't believe it was the same bloke.
Is that it's Dan James attacking in a nutshell, isn't it? That just it's in there. I've seen him score good goals. I know he can take a good first touch and strike it well, but I also know full well he can take a poor first touch, force himself into a bad position, not hit it cleanly, slice it a mile. But I suppose it is, again, it's one of those things in the Championship. It does make him very likeable.
Yeah.
This
was an outstanding finish, but this was a really good finish.
I mean, from there, don't get me wrong. You want to be putting the power on it for the angle you're at. But Jesus Christ, the man nearly took the nets off. Absolutely lashes that into the top corner.
Yeah, and you could tell by his celebration that he really. I think it was 50% celebration and 50% relief because he knew what had just happened 30 seconds earlier. And Leeds kept being the better side. Borough started to try and throw people forward a bit, and Leeds just had room on the break. And then later on, again, a pass played in the midfield. This time it's Tanaka, snaps in, wins it. Peru out to James. James to Tanaka, who's already up with the forward line because he's everywhere. He takes a not great first touch, and in the ground, because it was through bodies and we're on the wrong side, we actually thought he'd done quite a bad finish, and the rebound had fallen to Aronson. And then I saw it back on TV, and no, it's actually just a really good little pass across, very unselfish. And Brendan Aronson has a tap in from about 4 yards.
Yeah, it's same. Obviously, same watching it on the TV on the hard cam, that you don't realise he's pulled the trigger. You think he's probably taken the shot and it's bounced off the keeper's legs or something like that into Aronson. Yeah, so unselfish because at that point you're just thinking, you know what, I wouldn't blame you for having a go here, but no, bless him, goes and gets the assist, and Brendan Aronson can go prove all the haters wrong. But he is a goal scorer. He's more than his pressing. He's a well-rounded player.
Aronson had a slightly odd game, but by the end of it, I was quite tempted to give him man of the match, to be honest. I think probably Tanaka and Rothwell were ahead of him again, and maybe James. But Aronson, he did some really good things. The first 3 times he received the ball in dangerous areas, without touching the ball, he just did a little body feint and beat 2 players and was away. And he kept popping up in right places and kept being in areas, and off the ball he was great. It's just that choice of pass and stuff would wind you up. But I thought he was really good. I thought it was his best game for a while. But I'd probably, as dull as it is, probably end up giving it to Tanaka again. It's just fantastic. Even his terrible miss hit was an entertaining lobbed back pass to Melier by accident.
He definitely has the qualities that every Leeds fan loves in gets around the pitch well, breaks up play, decent passing range, and then works his bollocks off.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, he's also a really good footballer.
Yeah.
Like you say, it's his decision making. You kind of compare it to Brendan Aronson's. Tanaka's decision making on the ball is absolutely top quality.
Yeah, it's very rare that you see him. He's not faultless because he's still. There's a reason that we didn't pay 30 million for him, but he's not that far away. He doesn't make many mistakes. It's very odd that he plays a pass and you go, that was the wrong decision. Whereas there's a few players just with it being the championship team where you'll see him play the pass, and even if they get the pass right, you're like, I'm not sure that was the right option. He seems to have a really good just memory. I am not going to be the person that looks into this, but with Iniesta and that, they looked into how often they look up and scan. I bet his number for that is really high. Because he just always seems to have a good picture of what's around him. We had the discussions about him. We thought that Peru up top was not the right idea. I thought that Bamford really would be an idea for this one, but Mateo Joseph got the start and did pretty well. He wasn't that involved on the ball, but he led the line well. He made good runs into the box. And as has often been the case when it's been this way around, after 70 minutes of tiring out defenders, Peru comes on and just ends up with space. And although it wasn't his chances this time, he sets up James's goal. He plays the pass that leads to Arison's goal at the end. I do think that in any game where we're playing against a good side, Joseph for 70 minutes and then Peru off the bench is probably the way to go.
Yeah, like you say, I think out of possession where we are going to spend more time than usual out of possession, I think it does make sense, like you say, to have Joseph there, knacker himself out, put in the running, and then send Joel Peru on to get the glory of it.
Yeah. Solomon came on and left wing as well and did fine. Gilavogi and Schmidt both got on with a couple of minutes left. But it was good to see Ethan Ampadu get what was in the end not far off 15 minutes because of how long was added on. Coming on for Sam Byram at right back. It was good to see him get back on the pitch. Good to get that one out of the way. He looked really rusty.
Yeah, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah. Like he didn't have a good 10 minutes, but that doesn't matter. Yeah. They're just getting him back on the pitch was the important thing. And it should set him up well. But that it did take us back to the top of the league, but then Sheffield United won 1-0 at Millwall, so they're top. I believe that
ignore that part about the teams not being able to win away from home. Ignore that one.
Oh yeah, that one doesn't play into the narrative, so it's still impossible for a team to win away from home.
Yeah.
But Leeds 41 points from 20 games, which is exactly what we had last season. It's just that Sheffield United won 42 instead of it being 49 and 48, which was Leicester and which were on. But yeah, a really good win that, and I feel a lot more confident for that win. Not as confident as the bookies, who have us like 1 to 10 to get promoted now. Although you can't get the not to be promoted market, but Sky Bet have started offering to make the playoffs, which is almost the same price as what Leeds are would be to not be promoted. So if you were going to start having pessimist bets, that would be a place. So we've got Preston away tomorrow at 12:30. Preston, who of course did the impossible on Wednesday night by winning 2-0 away at Cardiff.
Shut up.
That did end a run of 9 league games without a win, but awesome. they had drawn 7 of them though.
So that doesn't count as Cardiff.
Yeah.
I've got
in England. Your stat, except Millwall.
I've got the home and away league tables here. There is no team.
We're top of the home one.
We are, yes.
Yeah.
We are 8th in the away table. There is no team that has won more than half of their away games. The best you're getting is Burnley have won half. We've won a third. Yeah. We've only lost, we've played 9, won 3, drawn 4, lost 2. Yeah. It's just a bit weird. It's the league this year, but you're looking at Preston. They at home they've won 3, drawn 5, lost 2. They are 15th in the home form table.
I'm not surprised you said a lot of draws because I did look. They've drawn 10 out of 20 in the league this season, which is West Brom levels of numbers.
No, they won as well. They were at home though.
Yeah. Well, they were also, does it count when you beat Frank Lampard? Like
what? Right, because we haven't really spoken too much about this. What an odd appointment.
I don't want to really give him the time of day because I dislike him to that enough of an extent. But why you would sack Mark Robbins to get Frank Lampard is beyond me. I find that reprehensible as what a board would do. But then again, I support a team that went from Marcelo Bielsa to Sam Allardyce in like 15 months.
But he doesn't even know the club. Like, I don't know what they're thinking. But like,
he knows the colour blue.
I noticed the tracksuits that Coventry are a slightly deeper shade of blue, and there's also a Steps reference for you.
I believe you.
It just seems such an that you've gone from, and I know he's been there for a few years, but getting in Mark Robbins, who is a very experienced Football League manager, to someone who didn't get promoted whilst being given a number of future England internationals in the Championship.
Yeah.
How bizarre.
How bizarre.
Just throw it out the 90s songs there.
Yeah. See, that one I get. Although we all know that the lyrics are Baldassar. Shout out to Baldassar Bodo.
Wherever you may be.
Hungary, I'm going to guess. We'll go. And back to another team that had changed manager, Preston, who got rid of Ryan Lowe after didn't he go after one game?
The stupidest logic in I've never understood that. Like, you've given a manager a summer, you've given them access to, you've spent money on that team. I imagine you've let them bring in players and get rid of players. What's the point if you're that unsure about them? There's no way they were sat there at midday that morning going, I am completely convinced that we have the right manager in place. And then by the end of the day gone, well, he's got to go, hasn't he?
I have two things to say to that. One, they kind of backed him over. Club captain Alan Brown had been there forever and was about their best player. And that's why he's ended up at Sunderland. And it kept by giving Ryan Lowe. But two, I can believe they'd do anything because Peter Risdale's in charge.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And who's their manager now?
Hecky.
It's Hecky.
This game, it could be a big change both with ball and without ball because they have played a 4-3-3 and a 3-4-3 under Heckingbottom. I would, based on looking at what they've played and against who, I would probably expect it to be a 3-4-3 against Leeds. Because they look like they'll sit deep. When you look at their side, they don't have much that really sticks out. Like Freddie Woodman's a good goalkeeper. And a lot of people say that Jack Watmore at centre back is pretty good, but I don't know loads about him. The wing backs, like that Josh Bowler, he's the one that was good at Blackpool a while ago. And I seem to remember someone saying that Kessler Hayden, the other wing back, is pretty quick. I don't know much about I'm not even going to look. I'm going to guess Icelandic lads, Forderson and Frokjær Jensen, just by the names. Frokjær Jensen, maybe that Jensen could be Danish. Forderson is Icelandic. And, oh, fuck's sake, who scored? You don't say where Frokjær Jensen's from. Oh, he's Danish. Yeah, there we go. It's amazing how many names you get. Nah, that's this place name. I don't know much about them, so they don't seem like much. Sam Greenwood has been, by all accounts, one of their better players. He's got 4 goals and 2 assists, playing sort of off the striker, but he won't be available for obvious reasons. The thing that worries me is the thing that always worries me against Leeds. Even though with Roden and Strauch it shouldn't, and they've stood up to tests like this well, it'll either be Ozamic or that Reese up top. They are both big shithouse strikers. Was it Ozamic that wound up Melier and got him to do something stupid and get sent off last season?
Yeah. Yeah, he's just been a right dick.
Yeah, and Melier just totally fell for it. Yeah, and I'm looking at that, and there's nothing like jumping out at me as particularly there's no one terrifying in that team. Obviously, it was Liam Miller, wasn't it, that played really well against us last year and sort of
had our grey on toast, as the kids would say.
Yeah. They've also got Brad Potts, who's a pretty decent player. And if they wanted to go in a less shithousey way, they've got Will Keane to play up front as well. He might even play a bit deeper in place of Sam Greenwood.
Yeah, it's another week of there's some decent players there, but should probably be fine. Yeah, like you're looking there at players like Robbie Brady will be a wily veteran at this point.
Veteran, definitely. I mean, I'm not sure how old he is now, but it must be getting on a bit. How old do you reckon Robbie Brady is?
36.
Yeah, I was thinking similar. Robbie Brady turns 33 next month, and he's younger
33?
And he's younger than we are.
That's a lie, and you know it.
That must be a lie. His wiki must be wrong. He's been around forever, is that? But yeah, he's younger than us.
What an odd world. God, he's got years left in his legs then.
You know, he's a really good player. He won't be as good as he used to be, but he's a really good set piece taker as well, isn't he? And that's always something to worry about. So, from Farke's press conference today, Byram is a bit of a doubt. He went off cramping up in the last game. Bogle is sort of back in training, but he's still a doubt. Verber's knee swelled up a bit, and he's a bit of a doubt. Normal, but from the way he was talking, it sounded to me like he's expecting. I don't think they're all going to be out. I think at least probably 2 of them are going to be available.
And what about Isaac Schmidt?
Isaac Schmidt will definitely be available, but he's not going to play him. I mean, don't be so patently ridiculous, Casey. He got his traditional 3 minutes off the bench at the end against Middlesbrough, and yes, it was on the wing. That's what Isaac Schmidt is for.
Just looking at their run of form, up until their win against Cardiff, which, as I've said, doesn't count, it's Cardiff. Their last win in the league before that was the 19th of October against Coventry. And by God, they've drawn a number of games and lost to Portsmouth, which is bad.
Yeah, but they've got so many draws that you wouldn't be stretching the truth to say that they're quite hard to beat. But they don't look a good side. And regardless of any previous results, you just look at their team and you look at ours on paper, and it's a game Leeds should win.
It's just quite funny looking at Preston and West Brom, because West Brom 11 draws, Preston 10 draws, and yet they are 8 places apart in the table. Because one of them, the few times they don't draw, they win.
Yeah. Well, that's the West Brom are a good side that are maybe a little bit too defensive and draw a bit too much, whereas Preston are a poor side that have to be really defensive and therefore snatch draws. I'm gonna guess that from the way that he was talking, I think that he made it sound to me. I think he's expecting Verber to be available. So, and then it'll be whichever one is fitter, you would think, out of Bogle and Byram. If it can be Bogle, it will be Bogle. Like that.
Twice a week.
I can't see
Byram. Oof.
I don't think anything else is going to change. I still think it'll be Rothwell and Tanaka. I think it'll be James, Aronson, Montour, and I think it'll be Joseph as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with that. Like I say, I think Joseph did well for what he needed to do in that game. So I'd be happy for him to stick in the team. Yeah, like you say, it's very much going to come down to fitness, isn't it, for the fullbacks?
Yeah, it will be who's available.
.com.
Mm.
That's the injury ratings website.
Yeah, I suppose the only reason is, do you think there's any chance he starts Ampadu?
No, I don't. I think it's an extended appearance off the bench. I think you maybe look at 73 minutes. He might come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it won't be earlier than 70 unless someone's broken. We know that. So my cat is attacking the box of cat food. I will feed him in a minute.
Yeah, cat.
So, yeah, I think it'll be I think we'll be pretty close to unchanged. I have had predictions sent in. Connie has 2-0 win, Alex 3-0, Benny 4-0. I do think we'll win this just based on just what I've seen of the teams. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 win.
I've got a set of principles, and no matter what the evidence says, in this day and age, I've got to go with how I feel. And teams don't win away, so Leeds are going to draw 2-2.
2-2 draw. I wouldn't be that shocked if we ended up drawing this game. Like I'd be disappointed, but I wouldn't be that shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked because
I would be shocked if it's as high scoring as 2-2.
I'm just thinking Joe Rogan gets a bit carried away.
Yeah. Well, he's done all of that work to be on 4 yellows for all of that time and not pick up the 5th. And then he just... He has been getting more confident with his stepping up and like taking the ball all the way to like 25 yards from goal sometimes. So yeah, he's we'll see with that. But yeah, I reckon we should have enough to win this. It's a shame that it's another early kickoff because although we won the last one, our record is not great in them. So we'll see about that, but it shouldn't matter too much.
Yeah.
I mean, we played Tuesday, they played Wednesday, so it shouldn't really be an excuse. But yeah, that will do us for episode 292 at Mike White's podcast. But we've then got nothing until Oxford, haven't we? On the 21st.
I think so.
No midweek game. So yeah, we'll be whatever day